Moisa.
Rahubat Moisa.
Greetings, family.
Let me just turn this down. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings, Rahubat. So, look who the cat dragged in.
Glad to be back, glad to be back.
All right. Just trying to get my mic down. So how's everyone doing? Oh, we're Sam Vision. We're live.
Yeah.
So share the link.
Share
Share the link. Let's see who's on. It's always a pleasure. I see everyone joining in. Boogeyman. Mashamar. Yeah, some of these names, some of your names are hard to pronounce. But welcome everyone.
Yeah.
Just waiting for more people to join. In the meantime, I'm gonna just play our theme song. You know what our theme song is, right? If you know the words, join in. Not nice, Rahubat. Isaiah Rahubat. Good for you, Rahubat. Sun L369, Rahubat. Roro, Rahubat. For the master. Master teacher.
Freedom for the master. Master teacher. Freedom for the master. Master teacher.
Yeah, we can say shalom, shalom, rahubat, assalamu alaikum. It's all good. Greetings. We're all one big family under the umbrella of Wu-Sabat. Lamont Johnson, Rahubat. Yeah, we're going to get to the questions. I'm just waiting for more to join. Arizona in the house, Simply V, Rahubat. Oh man, this is funny. Don't worry, we're going to answer your question. Good for you. Yeah, I know you say no disrespect and you need an answer. It's all good. As long as we keep it respectful and sincere, it's all good. And the minute we find or get a trace of disrespect or any trolling and any of that, we just kick you out. We ain't got time for any nonsense, to be honest. But we will give you, whoever, the benefit of the doubt. You know, we're here to answer questions. So
And uplift our people.
absolutely. Yeah, when you say our people, you know, Wu-Sabat deals with love and unity.
Yeah.
And our people are people who are about Wu-Sabat, the master teacher, truth, facts. That's our people.
Yeah.
All right. All right, it's 7:07, so I think that's a good time for us to get the show on the way. Rahoba Asaru.
Rahobat Ken.
Good to have you. Good to have you here.
Good to be here. Good to be back.
It's been a minute, so
Yeah.
let's see if we can answer some of these questions. Let me see if you can get you so you can see some of the questions as well on here. So, we're gonna get through the questions. So if you want to call in, remember you can also call in live. This is Ask Us Anything Season 2, Episode 12. Right, so let me just turn the volume down on this. We should be good to go. There you go. All right, so you can follow the questions there too. All right, let's get into it. But before we do, housekeeping. Remember that you can join our Telegram group. The Telegram group is active every day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So you can always continue to ask your question in the Telegram group. For all the newcomers that would like to join Wu-Sabat, join us as a community. We have our administration with the sisters Ma'at, Bastat, and others who will help you with onboarding, how to find your local jurisdiction, general questions about bookstores and where we're located, etc., etc. So remember that you can get all that information via the Telegram group. Also, many people are coming into Wu-Sabat from different walks of life, from different religious backgrounds that the master teacher has already taken us through. So we're well aware that for some people it's hard to kind of let go of these old books and traditions and things you've been doing for a long time. But we say that when you come into the Telegram group, we've already answered many, many questions that newcomers ask. So, go through the chat, search for answers before you post a new question that has already probably been answered many, many times. All right, it's all about love and unity and coming together. Right, so let's get into these questions. Rahubat would like to subscribe, but my does not allow me to indulge Wu-Sabat as I would like. It's not about the money. I mean, Wu-Sabat, as you can see, we do a lot of free work. The knowledge is free. That's why we are constantly posting information. We have free classes live twice a week, every Saturday, GMT UK time. You can join on Zoom and on Clubhouse, as well as physically if you're in the UK. We also have the Tuesdays live where you can call in or use the chat to ask us questions. In addition to that, we have the Telegram group where you can ask any question at any time. We also have many student teachers across the world posting classes online, many classes on, just search Wu-Sabat on Clubhouse, on YouTube. We give out constantly free information. So it's not really about money. So obviously, if you have it, you can support with the books, etc., and the subscription. But we still give out information freely. Okay.
Plus there's YouTube videos of the master teacher, which are free.
Tour.
So
I'm ready to ask and also to receive. I have a good one. There's a big chance I will call you if possible. That's from Adam, no problem. Jesse, Rahubat family, is it possible that someone could be initiated into becoming an Uwapian in the spirit and not be aware until they encounter Wu-Sabat? Tua, the master teacher, being a spiritual master, has made contact and people have had dreams and he's visited people all their lives. He told us that many of us don't realize, but he's been in our lives, helping us without us even knowing it was him. And so some people, by the time they finally connect the dots and come into Wu-Sabat, they realize that it was him all along that was helping them. And when people have spiritual experiences, sometimes they think based on what walk of life they are at that particular moment, they will relate it. So it might be like, an angel came to me, or, they will use terms like Jesus, or, a being came to me, and not realizing who he is. and then when they do, they realize that's who it was. So yes, you can have that experience, a spiritual experience, before you come into Wu-Sabat. Sometimes that's a prerequisite, or it leads you on the way to Wu-Sabat. Feel free to chime in anytime, bro.
Yeah.
Rahul Bat family, is it possible that, okay, I've just read that one. All right, let's get to your question. Good for you. Greetings, my brothers. Touring from Queens, New York City. And you say, how come you guys are still defending? And that name, we're going to say Dr. Malachi York, because you've put a misnomer. That's not his name. That's not his official name. That was a misnomer that it was used to try and if you know anything about, legal documents, if you're addressing the wrong person, then it doesn't really apply. But when you say, how comes you're still defending him? We're still defending him because we know he's innocent, 100%. And he's our father, spiritual master, master teacher, guide for this day and time. And we will never stop. We will never stop defending him, just like you wouldn't do so if it was your family member that was wrongfully accused. And yeah.
And what he's teaching is actual facts, information that you can do your own research and find out for yourself. But unfortunately, for a lot of us, we're too lazy to get off and then do the actual research.
Do the research.
But do the research and find out what this man's teaching is based on facts.
We have a live caller, so let's interrupt that and come back. Hey, greetings, Rahul Bat.
Hi, greetings again, Rahul Bat.
Hey, Kaiser Rahul Bat. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Congratulations again on 1,999. I know the power of 9 is important. So
Absolutely.
I invited some of my people, so you guys got on the Telegram group. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yes, you know what? Thank you. It was all of us that made it happen. And that was what we were trying to demonstrate, that once we put our collective minds together, we can achieve anything. Right. And the reason it was 999, as I posted some excerpts from the actual fact that the master explaining, is that when you're looking at numbers, like 1, 2, 3, the master explained to us that in order to have another number, so in order to have a 2, there must be a 1. And in order to have a 1, there must be a 2. So that's why it was like 99%. Or if you were looking at yourself, you'll have like 3/3 of yourself, 3/3 of your mother, and then 3/3 of your father. And there will always be that 1 that carries over. So, it's fantastic that we reached 999. Let me take your question because somebody else is trying to call. Okay.
That's what love is about. Yeah. So I want to know, what are the Andromedans? I want to know about extraterrestrial. I also posted a couple of videos on the Telegram. I would hopefully like for you to talk about and choose anything of the topics that I had. Those are the questions that we want to know. We want to know what are those drones.
Okay.
We want to know how to become a galactic citizen. You remember I talked about the crystals, that how to pilot the craft.
Right.
Way more advanced than them drones. So I know you're gonna say they're not drones, but I'm gonna listen to. Yeah, that's my first question. So.
All right. Appreciate love your questions.
Yeah.
All right. So Andromeda is an actual constellation where you have many different beings. The ones that most people should be familiar with are the predator beings. They come from Andromeda. But you have different beings. And recently, I say recently, but for many who don't know this, the master teacher explained to us in an update that the beings that are currently in charge or running the planet are from Andromeda, and these are the androgynous beings. And this is why you've seen the shift in terms of, the like LGBT community and things like that. So that's when, and the thing is, when we say constellations, we have to remember that there are different beings that reside in different star systems and different constellations. So there could be all types of beings that are from that sun or that star system. Yeah, so in terms of the drones, yes, the master has always prepared us for this. And this is why today, as a Nuwapian or a Sabian, anything to do with extraterrestrials and crafts and things like that, it's nothing new to us because the master came on the scene teaching us these things and saying that, you know, whether you think I'm sounding crazy now, it doesn't matter because in time you will get to know and it will be made clear. And he was obviously explaining that he comes from a planet called Planet Risk.
Yep.
And many people will say things like, well, how do you know? It's a belief if you don't know. Yes, but at the same time, he has spoken to us and taught us so much about Planet Risk over the years before people were able to even come across tri-solar systems, because he was explaining about the 3 suns on Risk, you know, and put out books like Man from Planet Risk, Risk and Ilion,
Anunnakis and then Nibiru, Fact or Fiction.
Fiction. Are there UFOs in your UFOs and extraterrestrials in your midst? Mystery clouds. Are there UFOs?
Yeah.
The list goes on and on and on and on. So back then, people were thinking, you know, he's crazy, because everyone's doctrine, especially the monotheistic religions, they all spoke about extraterrestrials, but they just didn't admit that it was extraterrestrials because they use words like angels and
Malik
gods
Kat, yeah.
and Malik Kat and
Yahweh,
like
Jehovah,
yeah, and Jesus coming down here from up there and then going back. The Bible talks about, you know, Daniel's visions, the Ezekiel's will, the crystal city in the book of Revelations.
Children in the wilderness.
Yeah, the children of Israelite following the
wise
cloud,
men.
the 3 wise men. So it was always there, but it just took time for people to catch up. So he has said these drones that people are seeing on the news, the time was going to come when these extraterrestrials will make themselves clearly visible to everyone. And that's what's happening. And yes, you have the fake drones and you have the orbs and the ones that have been coming out of the water. So for us, oh yeah, My Brother the Extraterrestrial, which is written by his sister, you know, Kamamtat Tawaret. So for us, this is normal. It's normal to us. We have no kind of like, but for those, no like apprehension or anything about it, because we've been taught about this for years and prepared for this time. And there's more to come. For those who didn't accept it, well, now you have to face up to the reality. And there were movies, you know, Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica,
Close
Encounters, name it. There have been so
Men in
many
Black.
movies. Men in Black. The list goes on and on and on. Why do they keep making movies about these beings if there's no truth to it? So I hope that's answered your question. And another thing, recently in the last few days here in the UK, I'm not sure about anywhere else, but you've been seeing some very thick fog. Yeah, and if you read Mystery Clouds, Are There UFOs? The master explains that too, because they don't want people to really see. I mean, you hardly look up and see stars anyway because of the way the atmosphere is, but they can camouflage and block the atmosphere so that people don't actually see these crafts, and but it's too late. I mean, it's going to become something that's going to be more and more
But there's also another thing
visible.
I want to point. It's just funny how they're using the term drones now instead of UAP or UFOs.
Yeah.
So when you hear the word drones, you're going to think, man-made. It's like made here.
Yeah.
Even though some of the drones are man-made, but as Seken was saying, there are those extraterrestrial crafts that are real.
That's right.
That's it. So, yeah, the drone thing, that's another thing to like stop people for further researching into the UFO phenomena.
Okay. Yeah, I see them. All right. Let me let's address these. All right. Res Nation 360. We want to show appreciate love your donation. My question is, Anu left their planet, came to Earth, which already have life and resources. So what God did this? All right. I guess when we're quoting or saying things, we have to say where we the reference that you're coming from. When you say Anu left their planet, or maybe you mean the Anunnaki. And another thing we keep saying over and over again, the word Anunnaki is a description of an incident, and people keep thinking Anunnaki is just a specific species. There are different species referred to as the Anunnaki. And so in that particular story, I'm just kind of going with maybe you coming from the Sumerian doctrine or the holy tablets where the master first taught us about the Anunnaki. They came to Earth, or they were actually traversing the universe in search of gold to repair their planet. And then an accident took place, and by way of that accident, you know, with Meldick, and then bumping into Tamat, and you know, with the crash, they discovered gold on the planet. So when you're saying came to Earth, which already have life and resources, what God did this, you have to give us a reference. If you're talking about from the Bible, then that would have been Enki terraforming the planet, because he was hovering over the planet because of the dust cloud covering the planet, and it was very thick dust, and he had to clear the dust cloud to allow the sun rays back through to the planet, and then, as I said, terraform it. But yeah, if you can clarify that a bit more, we can maybe give you more details. And Andrew, we want to also, Burrows, yeah, appreciate, love your donation. What will the Earth be like during the final days when the aliens come back? How disagreeable will the Earth be for humans? Paint an image for me. See, a lot of the time we say things like, when the aliens come back, they've been here. They've been here for millions of years. Even yourself or ourselves, we are not from here. This is what I was saying with the previous question, that they tell you that Jesus has gone back to heaven, but heaven is where? And we are supposed to go somewhere when we cross over or pass from this physical body. So the aliens have been here. It's just that they're now showing themselves a bit more. People have been seeing them. Some of them have been disguising themselves. So you talk about like what they call Bigfoot, and you know, they're different species as well. Different people have seen different types of extraterrestrials and have had encounters. When you say how disagreeable would the Earth be for humans, the Earth is disagreeable already. Yeah. It's both agreeable and disagreeable. But I see you in a
But I think there's a book in this Patriarch, I was there, which is here. That one will go into what it's going to look like when it gets really, as you say, chaotic.
And also it all depends on us. It depends on humanity and what we do, because we can change our fate by our actions and how we. Well, number one priority is to get the master teacher out. Because he's an extraterrestrial. He knows more than any of us will ever know what's to take place and how things will unfold. And our test collectively is to unite in love and unity. That's divine love, which is unconditional for each other, because these extraterrestrials, they want to see that we are ready to, as you were asking, I think the previous question about how we're going to join the intergalactic community. We're already in the 18th galaxy, and you have representatives from each galaxy that sit amongst the Galactical Federation and have masters, and they are the ones that will speak on our behalf. And Pandababianun is one of those masters that he's vouching for us. He's the one that has been saying, do not destroy this planet, because it came to a point where they were like, we need to just, you know, start all over. And he's begged, cried, and spoke on our behalf to say, no, there are those who I can reach and save.
That's right.
And when you know, when he was approached to leave, he said, no, he will stay, because we're getting it. And, you know, we're seeing with OSM Vision and Ask Us Anything and Wu-Sabat, we're getting people all across the globe. So it is working. The next step is to really let go of these foreign religions and practice and put Wu-Sabat to work in your life and come together, and so we can change the planet. So it's really down to us if we come, because many people are disagreeable based on the negativity and the chaos on the planet. So you have to try and change your polarity from being disagreeable to being agreeable. And that takes time in terms of you changing your thoughts, changing your actions, changing your diet. This is why he said, clean yourself inside out, so we can become.
That's why he had the Mugaraj, where he was changing down frequencies from a negative to a positive.
Absolutely. So you have to change your aura and your mind so you can act and behave like an intelligent being. All right, let's keep going. Timothy, greetings. Glad to see bro back on the screen. 2 questions. How is the master teacher holding up, and what do you think about the Philadelphia experiment? As far as the question of how is the master teacher holding up, just like anybody would in under those circumstances, it's been far too long, and you know, this is our last episode for the Gregorian calendar. But going forward, we have to now start putting into action, not just reading, asking questions, and we have to start putting things into actions. And the number 1 priority is get him out. Yeah. And we're going to be implementing and talking about how we will do this going forward. So in terms of how is he holding up, he's just holding on and wanting us to do our best. And he's doing his best under the circumstances. What do we think about the Philadelphia experiment? That's a very broad question. Yeah. It's been quite an impact on the planet since it took place. You know, this is when the time was thrown off, and now, you know, we're thrown off by 3 years. From 1943, the vortex has been opening every 10 years because of that glitch. But there are cycles within cycles, and when we talk about time, because that experiment was an invisibility project to see if they could transport USS Eldridge, which is a ship from one place to another. From Virginia, I think, right? So it went wrong because they didn't have the technology at the time to be able to map everybody's 0 time reference, which is very important in the calculations, because when you're dealing with teleportation, there are different ways of teleportation, right? I mean, as you watch in the movies, they make it look simple, like you just break down the person's molecular structure and then transfer them to a location and then rebuild them, all right? And then you have quantum teleportation, which is different, which is like ties into quantum entanglement, meaning that instead of taking matter, breaking it down into its molecular structure, transporting it somewhere and then reconstructing it, all you have to do is take the data or the information and have 2 things. Like, for example, we are affected if somebody's across the world and their resonance and they're vibrating on the same frequency, we are connected to them, so we can be affected by their actions and vice versa. We got another call. I'll come back to what I was saying if I don't forget. Rahubat.
Rahubat, I tell you what, shook.
I shook, Zama.
How you doing? I have a question.
I've
been hearing ringtones lately, and I'm curious on what's going on and how can I respond. Number 2, you're talking about golden children and that the oversoul sent them down. Where are the oversouls at, and where did the golden children, where did they come from before they came to Earth? All right,
Tua. Rahubat. So the first question about the ringtones, I think he means a ringing in the ear. Yeah. Again, as we're now starting to see more extraterrestrials, you know, emerging, there are people and children on the planet, as the master teacher explained to us on in the book Man from Planet Risk and other scrolls, that these beings will receive messages, or they'll get these ringing in their ear.
Yeah.
They're testing and checking that you're okay, because the time may be coming where you'll be sent messages and know what to do depending on what's happening on the planet, where to go and how to lead other people there if it gets to that.
Fine tuning.
Fine tuning. And also, it's not everyone that's getting rings in their ear that are going to be these people or chosen people. It could just be the atmosphere. There's a lot of pollution. You may have damaged some of your magnetic particles. Listening to the wrong vibrations and frequencies. So we're just saying that although the doctrine talks about these people that will get special ringing in their ear, which is a way of communication, that it doesn't apply to everyone. All right. Is that, yeah? So with the golden children, there is a part to that. Is this the golden children? Yeah, the golden children part to that, which you can actually read completely. Over souls are on a different dimension, on a different realm, and we are connected to them. This is what I was saying before the call came in, that with quantum entanglement, you're still connected to your etheric being as your etheric parents. You're connected to your ancestors who have crossed over on different realms, and you can still utilize them. So anything you want to do right now, you can do it by way of their assistance. But yeah, do you want to read that? You're going to read that? We're going to read a little bit from the Golden Children, which might address your question, but we do have another call, so I don't know. Do you want to do that? Or
Yeah, you can do.
Actually, we did a video called The Golden Children. So yeah, don't because of time. Watch that video, and yeah, they're from different realms. Rahubat.
Anna?
Rahubat, who's calling? Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Anthony from London.
Hey, Rahubat, how you doing?
I'm alright. Okay. Wait, well, should I ask you the question?
Yeah. I think that's why you called, right?
Oh, I didn't know I was speaking, sorry, because it's delayed because I'm watching you on the thing now and it's a bit delayed. But
yeah, there's a bit of latency if you're watching it on the YouTube.
Yeah, so I've got a few questions here. It's a bit confusing here. So because I've been in this on this journey of knowledge as well. So I've got a few questions about the Earth and the Anunnaki.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so are the Anunnaki the fallen angels that the Bible speaks of? And if not, who created them? And should I continue the question? I've got another question which states that who created Earth if the Anunnaki hovered over the Earth? You mentioned they hovered over the Earth, and then so who then created the Earth prior to them arriving?
Okay, right. The Anunnaki, we did a whole video on the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are people. They have parents. Anu has parents. His parents are Ansha and Kisha, right? That's the 9th Anu. Yeah. And our ancestors, the Panatharu, are like 100,000 light years ahead in terms of technology. They are responsible for creating the planets. What you're calling planets, remember, this is just one planet in our solar system of many solar systems, billions of solar systems, right? And these are beings, they're just more advanced and they live in different parts of the cosmos. So when you say who created the Anunnaki, they're like us, they multiply and they have children. And, in that part Anunnaki and the biblical, and we did the whole video on that as well. So you can get to know about who we're calling Anunnaki. The phrase is just a term that was relating to those beings that Anu, that was in the seat of power at the time, sent beings down here to come and, like we were saying, carry out certain projects, look for the gold and things like that. And they came in groups of 50 because the passengers, the crafts could only hold 50 passengers, and predominantly that was his family. Now, when you're talking about the terraforming or Enki flying above the planet, there were already billions and millions of other planets and stars and galaxies and constellations already prior to that. It was just this planet at the time, because of an accident, that the meteorite hit the planet, and when it did, it basically produced dust that covered the planet, and the planet wasn't able to receive the sun rays from the sun, because you know, in our solar system, our sun is what basically keeps life going, you know. So they had to clear the dust cloud to let the sun rays in. So this is where Genesis is picking up, and it sounds like they'll say, God in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's a story that somebody's telling you. So obviously, if they're there telling you the story, that's not the beginning, is it? Because they were already, they would have been created in whatever beginning they were in. So people get confused because it just starts off like that. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and he, you know, they said, "Let there be light." That's when the light rays or the sun rays were coming through. So, did I answer all your questions?
Yeah, I've still got more, but then it's just a bit confusing then.
What's
Because, you know,
confusing?
no, about the Anunnaki, because it goes against certain beliefs. Now, for instance, I'm Yoruba, right? And in the Yoruba tradition, they believe, you know, God created the earth, and then there was this cock, like a chicken or a hen, should I say?
Yeah.
That was put on the earth to then spread out sand all over the earth, and that's where life began.
Yeah, but
You know,
but
it's a bit
it doesn't make sense if you think about that story properly. What it is those are symbolic stories
yeah.
that are relating to stories that came before them. So when you're saying the hen, that's dealing with the geese or the goose that laid the golden egg, which is a story taken from ancient Egypt. And that's what I'm saying. These stories get passed on over and
thing as
over
well, then,
again.
because
Sorry,
yeah,
let me
but
finish.
in the life,
So when you say God created, every creation, every religious story or cultures, they begin with God created, but they don't explain who this God is and how did this God come about. Whereas we go into the details and tell you which gods they're talking about, who they're saying or calling God. Go ahead.
okay, because you know another thing is, you know, they mentioned they came to mine gold. So when I look at the world today, we look at who's hoarding all the gold in the world today. It's the Caucasian race, and it just so happens to be that the Negroes happen to be the oppressed race. Because for
You're
some
wrong.
reason,
You're wrong
huh?
again. The gold, the most
Yeah, but
gold is in Africa.
yes, I know, but the Anunnaki said they created a slave race to hoard the gold, to harvest the gold, if you will. And to me, it comes across to me as if it's the Caucasian race that's doing that.
Well, that's
Taking
you
the
saying
gold.
you're saying your version of what you think it is, but that's not what it is.
I'm going on what I see. That's the thing.
Say that
I'm just
again.
going on what I see.
No, I'm saying you just said you think is the Caucasian race, but you have to tell me where you getting your information from. Where's the reference?
No, it's based on what I can see currently in the world today.
All right, but
And
I
okay,
just say
can I?
what you're seeing in terms of what the gold.
Yeah, no, because the story of the Anunnaki is something to do with they created a race of beings to mine gold on this earth. And then I'm relating that to the Caucasian that's holding all the gold in the world. That's kind of, if you will, doing what it says the Anunnaki created the slave race for, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't. We're trying to clarify your question because you're making inference and trying to correlate two different things and saying you think it's that, but that's not what it is. And I'm saying to you right now, they don't even really have any gold. No. Caucasians don't have any gold. And or if you're saying who's got the most gold, the gold is predominantly in Africa.
Still is, yeah.
And still is. And the riches or the things that they're using as, you know, value here in the West all come from pretty much from Africa. That's the platinum, the gold, the silver, the cobalt, oil, name it. So, I mean, what is it that you're really trying to ask? Because you're not really.
I don't understand. Yeah, no, I know, because the question is not that straightforward. That's the thing. It's just I'm going on what I can see, because what we see today is a remnant of the past. something must have happened in the past, and then we're going through it today. Because I see
You're telling me what you observe and what you see, but what is your question? Like, ask your question directly, because anyone can make, an observation and then give opinions on what they see. But what is your question? Because this is ask us anything as ask us a question, but you're not asking a direct question.
I know I'm trying to debate, but it's just, okay, can I ask this one question then? So why are the Negroes oppressed in the world today?
Only person that's oppressed is somebody who feels they're oppressed
Yeah.
and wants to be oppressed. I'm not oppressed.
We're rising up. I'm not.
I mean,
yeah.
it's a matter of how you see things. It's a matter of how you see things. People feel they're oppressed because they're not doing what they need to do. Like all other races, they come together and they build for themselves. Like, not everybody feels oppressed, but globally it will look that way because for 6,000 years, we've been in that position of subjugation because we're not in control. So Wu-Sabat is here for people to stop thinking like that and come together and build and do what we need to do.
Right.
Yeah, we're starting to take control of our life, our destiny. So yeah, we're not under that slave mentality no more. That's why the master teacher is here to break the spell, to get us out of that state of worshipping other self than kind.
Right, we've got a lot of questions waiting and people ringing. So if you have another question, you can just ask that and we can address that. And you can join our Telegram group if you're already not, or come to the classes and ask more of your questions. But because this is a live and we want to get through as many questions as possible.
No problem. I'll come to the class.
Yeah, come down, man. Come down.
All right,
problem.
Tower. Okay, let's see. Where were we? All right, let me just give out the number for those who want to call. Okay. So the number to call, if you're outside the UK, you have to put the area code, which is +44. That's the UK code. And then dial the number 753 996 3882. I repeat, +44 if you're calling from outside the UK, 753 996 3882. All right, you can speak to either of us directly. Check Chaser saying you're looking fly, is it?
So,
Yeah, these garbs are available at the store.
yeah.
So if you want to look as fly as he does, yeah, Rahubat, caller, what's your name and where you calling from and your question, please?
Yeah, this is Kali Monk from La La Land, California.
Hey, Rahubat, La La Land. I like that. How you doing? Lost Angels.
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm just coming to the conclusion that everything starts from going within yourself. Because when you have outside problems, you go within to figure them out. So,
True.
all the, like,
Tua.
The atmosphere where I'm staying at, I noticed there's different things going on in the sky, and my question is, are they purposely? They're purposely messing with the skies. They're purposely tampering with the foods, having our children on having ADHD and everything. There's a lot of us that's struggling right now. So my question is, what can we do to combat what they're doing, and how can we be leading by example and trying to help people to combat these things?
Tua. You know what? Sometimes,
Wu-Sabat.
I don't know how
Yeah.
more we can say the same thing. The answer is Wu-Sabat.
Wu-Sabat is the formula.
But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Like that is the formula that is here to break the spell, to get us out of that state of mind. Because right now we're recognizing these alien religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. That's not working for us as Nagaro, as Africano. We have our own science that works for us. This is why the master teacher is here. So Wu-Sabat is a formula to diffuse all these lies.
Because with Wu-Sabat, right, we try to make it very simple. So if you're a newcomer, we've already put like a foundation or a fast track to get you up to speed. This is why we've got the course, Fast Track Your Spiritual and Conscious Journey. And we have a book as well to go with it if you prefer a physical book. because what that does is it sets your foundation in Wu-Sabat, and then you have a list of over 1,000 books that you can then go into more detail. So the way you eat and what you do when you wait, you know, the way you govern your life on a daily basis, and then you work with people in the community to provide and build everything you need. And, you know, most people don't want to take the basic steps first. I mean, I'm just looking at the next question here is asking about, is there really a hell? And was it just a scare tactic? And the state of mind you're in can give you hell. And there is actually a physical place that was referred to as hell. So a lot of times you have things that are real, as the brother before was saying, that they create confusion and chaos by mixing reality with irreality.
Yep.
So they're real drones, but they will have, you know, actual extraterrestrial crafts as well. So that confuses people, because some will see the drones and just, oh, they're just drones. Others will see the real crafts and say, no, this was a real craft. And now it's chaos, because the same with hell. There was a place in the center of the earth where you have different beings that reside, and some of these beings, extraterrestrial beings, were not really benevolent, right? So they would, you know, it will look like hell if you go down there and they, you know, torture you or whatever. It was called Hades. And now you also have a state of mind where you call hell, or your environment where you live. You know, people call certain places ghettos, which goes back to the hell during Hitler's time during the war in Germany, right? So it's all about your knowledge and your perception, and whether you can decipher something being, you know, a symbolic thing, a real thing, or just a mental thing, you know. So yeah, is there somebody else on the call? All right, so let's keep going. Rahubat, caller, where are you calling from? What's your name and what's your question, please?
Oh yeah, from South Africa. Second.
Hey, Rahubat.
Yeah, but
Y'all guys good.
We're doing our best. We're doing our best.
I just wanted to say, y'all guys are doing a good job. You feel me?
Tawuat.
that was that.
Doing our best.
My question is, when do you all celebrate the New Year? Because the New Year is supposed to start at the start of spring.
Oh, that's actually a really good question. Go ahead. Let me let you finish.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Let me let you finish. I was interrupting you. My bad.
Oh yeah, and things actually begin when they reborn us, I mean, on the New Year, and not dead during winter time.
Right. Okay. So right now it's already 2025 in certain places, which is actually funny because we're waiting to go into 2025 because it's just based on this fictitious time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, in terms of our New Year begins on June the 26th. All right, and we have our own calendar, our own, basically everything. So we because we know that our family and people who were under the spell for the last 6,000 years, celebrating these religious, so-called religious festivals, which are really, their roots are in pagan rituals from, you know, Wicca and so on. We replace them with positivity. So we celebrate Children's Day as opposed to what, you know, people are calling Christmas. Our New Year is June the 26th, and our calendar, we're actually now in 6024 going into 6025. So yes, we don't, and it's a mental thing as well, because as I just said, people already, I think in New Zealand, they're already in 2025, and we're here waiting to go into 2025. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, I hope that's answered the question.
But when you look at that, people celebrating their New Year this time now, I mean, everything's dead now. The animals are all hibernating. This is why we celebrate our New Year, June 26th, because that's when nature comes alive. Animals give birth, spring, summer. This is a lifetime.
Yeah.
So this
and
is
again, tour, and that we did that Christmas video because they tell you that they're celebrating the birth of Jesus in winter, but yet you can't be in a manger with no clothes on, according to the story, in winter. So that clearly tells you it was not winter, and it was really summertime, which was June the 26th. So, and that was in 7 AD. But again, misinformation that gets passed down as Chinese whispers over generations and generations. People just start doing things and they have no idea why they're doing what they're doing. All right, caller, what's your name? What's your question, and where you calling from, please?
Hey, my name is Omar from the United States. I was calling to see if you can go into detail about how are we all a part of like the all? Like, can you go into detail about how we are all one? And then also, I know that the year 2025 is the year equals up to number 9. So can you explain how this equals up to like the year of completion?
Sure.
That's my question.
Right, so that's dealing with 9 ether. And when we say we're all one, because when you start to elevate mentally, you realize that you have to transcend people, places, and things. People, places, and things is the spell that keeps us under 6 ether and being controlled and following all these rules that are not really for us, you know. So when you transcend that as a conscious being, you start to realize that you're dealing with energy. Now, energy vibrates at different frequencies, and the higher your vibration, the more intellect you have, the more in tune you are with nature and things beyond people, places, and things. So we refer to that as being a part of the all, right? When we say that in English, it's because the word all, A-double-L in English, is the best version we can use for everyone to be able to fully understand, because you can't take from all and you cannot add to all. But in our tones, we would say pa'ut, all right? So everything you see and deal with is at different vibrations. So we're on a low vibration in terms of the material and physical realm. However, we're connected to the higher realms at the same time. And you can raise yourself. And this is what the master teacher, Pana Babyanuni, is doing. You raise yourself in intellect, you raise yourself in spirituality, you raise yourself to then be able to tap into these higher realms. And you have ancestors and beings that have evolved past this low vibration. They don't really want to come here because they want to remain in those blissful states. So that's what we mean when we say we're part of the all and the all is a part of us. We're one with the all and the all is one with us. Now, when you're talking about the number 9, yes, 2025 is significant because when you add the numbers, it's 9, dealing with 9 ether, 9 mind, 9 reasoning, and it's all about the sun cycle that we're in. And it's really now for people to wake up to the 9 consciousness. I don't know if you want to add anything to
that's
that.
it.
Bro. Yeah.
9 to the 9th power of 9. It's our time to rule, to shine.
Our time. When I say ours, we always have to clarify that. Ours in terms of anybody on the planet who's willing to accept Wu-Sabat,
That's it.
live it and put it into practice and raise their vibration. They're about truth, they're about facts, they're about love and unity, as cliche as it may sound. We're about world peace.
I mean, we've given all the other religions a try. Now, let's give Wu-Sabat a try. See if it works for us. Guarantee you'll find that it does.
100%. Yeah, Rahul back. Kaiser again. How you doing? What's your question?
Hi, again, Rahul Bat.
Rahul Bat.
Man. You guys, you know the meme where the guy, his brain, like his brain explosion? I'm gonna send you like, Wu-Sabat is that, bro. It's like everyone's gonna get that. You know?
Yeah, you get that DNA explosion. Yeah. It's real, and I think some people they try to struggle with it, but the reality is the reality. There's no stopping it.
No stopping back, man. That's a shook. That's what I love about Wu-Sabat.
Tua.
So so there's I was wondering when right now I do grounding sometimes, or in summertime and spring I connect with nature, Mother Nature. And right now, the snow and it's cold. Like, I don't know, how can I connect with with nature, and she communicate with me the best way. Sometimes I see Instagram, there's a guy, he made like shoes with grass on it, you know, like, and they're grounding at home. So when explain the seasons, my favorite season is spring. And my birthday is April 27th, so meaning I'm a Taurus. And yeah, I like this. I think that's because I like nature.
Sure.
And yeah, so basically how we connect when it's cold like this.
Okay.
And you know, and who's Ninher Sag? I think I post a video. I would like you to make a response or answers to any video I send. But yeah, later when you have a chance.
No problem.
Basically, I love how you guys make you put the AI and it's the good graphics on it. So like visual learners. Like
our man King, man, he's setting the bar right now. We ain't even got started. We're just getting started. He's doing a great job. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's what the Christmas video is great, because when the kids watch it, they're visual. They're gonna love to see how that's Santa. They don't know, you know.
Right.
They're learning something, playing with the video. So the graphics high level. So I see Shook. So those are the cool questions.
Tua.
And who's Ninher?
Got you. All right.
Any other individual being you want to tell me about?
Okay, cool. Yeah. Wu-Sabat is not extreme. We don't deal with the extremes. And you are nature. That's the reality. You are nature all year round yourself, because the word Natiru is talking about our ancestors, and that's the way they get the word nature from. So wherever you go, whatever season, whatever environment you're in, you are that nature. However, you know, you can connect with nature like, okay, what is nature? You're dealing with the air, so your breathing exercises. You can still go into, you know, nature and breathe. You can touch the trees, connect with the trees. Grounding doesn't always necessarily mean you have to put your feet in the soil. So you're still in tune with nature by way of the elements. Yeah, so that's number one. Ninher Sag is a name from the Anunnaki when we're talking about, exactly. She, you know, it's a family. You had like Nagal, Arishkigal, Ninher Sag. These were the beings that were actually carrying out some of the experiments. And then, you know, their names like Ninti, Ninki, Enlil. Right, so she's part of the family. So I hope that helps. But again, we have scrolls that the master teacher has put out that go into this. Unfortunately, the lives are quick and, you know, fast. We don't really take too much time to go into the scrolls like that. But if you
Anunnaki, no, Extraterrestrials Amongst Us is a calendar that goes into the Anunnakis and Arishkagal, Sans, the Muzi, and the rest of the Anunnaki.
Yeah, but like they're people, literally, like, because of religion and the religious mindset, people tend to try and look at Anunnaki or Elohim or the Anutu or, you know, all these names that you're picking up in the mistranslations of the books as if they're completely separate from you, when you're dealing with our ancestors, both agreeable and disagreeable. When you deal with the Anunnaki, they're disagreeable Anunnaki and they're agreeable Anunnaki. You know, cherubim, seraphim, Tob, Ra, you know, these are just terms to describe natures, but ultimately you have both natures in pretty much everything. That's why we teach about being balanced and not going to one extreme or the other, thinking that, you know, you have to only do something in one way. We're very, very flexible. All right, I had 2 questions, now 3, people showing us some love. So let me address those before we come back to the question. King, I've lost 2 of them, but I'll go to Andrew. Andrew, again, thank you for your donation. Can I get in contact with Dr. York? Is there a possibility I can work on your website? I'm a digital marketer that would really like to make improvements to your site to increase your reach. Absolutely. The thing about we need help. Like we keep saying to everybody, like, we come in together as a community.
That's it.
We need everyone's skills. Everyone has something to bring to the table. So yes, definitely.
Love and unity. That's it.
Yep.
Come together, man.
And in terms of, can you get in contact with Dr. York? You can contact him and be in tune with him spiritually, and he can visit beings spiritually. However, physically, we would all love to be in contact with him, and that's why getting him out is the best way we're going to be able to get in contact with him, right? We're working on this hard and every day, you know. But yeah, in terms of contact, there are different ways of contacting, all right? So there's mental contact, there's spiritual contact, and there's obviously physical contact. But depending on where you are, and if you do want to be around him, this is why we tell everybody, get involved with a community. Go to the local bookstores, your local temples. Get to be a part of the family, because, you know, if you want to be around him, he's going to be around family. Yep. So, yeah, in terms of being a digital marketer, we ask people to become a part of the community, send in your CVs, let us know your skills, and so we can work together and build. So, yes, thank you for your donation and for your questions. King, I lost the first two that... Okay, he sounds like he's busy. All right, I lost two of the other questions that we received donations for, but so excuse me. So let's carry on. Do you want to, do you know where we are? What does it say here? And why did your master teacher, okay, let me go back, there's still more. Good for you. Hearsay is hearsay. That's not facts and evidence. You know, people can tell you, many people are able to, you know, and I'm not saying for once that we don't have any empathy for anybody who went through something. The facts are that, did that have anything to do with Dr. York? Because other people did things that he got blamed for. And so I'm not saying you didn't speak to people that had certain experiences, but it would be wrong to try and put that on the master teacher, and without having any facts and any evidence, you know, we're not going to do that. So,
I mean, they're forever trying to destroy any person that is trying to uplift the people's character. They find any way of destroying his character, and this is what they're trying to do with master teacher, trying to destroy his character. But as I said, no evidence, no DNA, nothing.
Yeah. And you're always going to get the distractors and the people that want to come and, you know, change the vibration and the frequency. And Adam, I can see that, you know, you're dealing with it, but at the same time, we're dealing with a shook, yeah? So we don't have to really drop down to, you know, to the level, you know, that others are trying to take us to. We stay vibrating higher than that, okay? And others that people come and try to, you know, give their versions or persuade people to go and follow them and all that kind of nonsense. Your heart seat will tell you, truth is truth. If it vibrates with you and resonates with you, then follow your mind, follow your heart. And if you don't, cool, go and follow whoever you want to follow, and you will see in the end, Dr. York's been teaching and proving himself for over 50 years and still going strong and still doing it. There aren't many people who can stand the test of time. So, you know, let's move on. Can you speak on those books, what may be true and what about these books are false? The question is not clear. I don't know which books you're talking about. Are you talking about the Bible, Quran and all of that? If that's what you're talking about, they don't make sense. That you can tell that from just reading them yourself. If that's what you're referring to, because the question is not that clear. That's Roro. You said, can you speak on those books? What may be true and what about these books are false? So I don't know which books you're talking about. Is there a judgment going on in the planet by the extraterrestrials? You judge yourself every single day by your actions and what you do. And judgment on the Adamites.
Adamites, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
It's already taking place. So yes, there is that judgment. Their time is up as of the year 2000 AD. And And the thing is, people think that it's going to happen overnight. You know, chaos is not like, sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's a gradual process. But at the same time, it's anyone that's falling under that lifestyle.
I'm calling back because I wanted to see if I could talk to the gentleman that is talking.
Tua, Rahobat.
That's talking on live.
Yeah, you're speaking
Yes.
to us right now.
Okay. Hi. The reason why I'm calling is because my name is Latasha Atwood, and I'm not in my higher self right now. I'm in my lower self. Okay, because it's still daylight where I am, and I have to move around. But what I wanted to say is that a year ago I had a vision, and the vision was that a master teacher. I'm supposed to receive a master teacher, and the master teacher is supposed to lead me for the remaining time that I have on this planet. Because after I leave this planet, I have a bigger job that I have to do. So when I listen to you, you say that the master teacher is in trouble. So I have a connection to the universe. And what I do is I have my God with me. My brother that lived on this earth, he passed away in 2014. And he is my God. He is the God to the spiritual world for me. And he told me to talk to you. And I really don't want to talk in front of everybody because sometimes I say some things that are a little bit that's not for everybody to hear.
Right. That's why we encourage you to come in the Telegram group so we can have private conversations, because you're right. Not everything is for public. Yes, your brother is now on the other dimension, other realms, and he can connect and talk with you. And yes, the master teacher, I didn't quite get your direct question, and unless you want to take it offline and speak to us privately, we can do that. But if you have a question now, we can also address that for you.
I do. I have a question because, I guess I did 3 questions. I submitted them to you. But one question I have is this. So tomorrow is going to be the 1st. So this is our time, the year of the snake, 2025. That's me. So tomorrow I will be fully activated. But what I need to do is, once my brother comes in, he is my lighthouse. So he sees out of my 3rd eye. But a long time ago, when I was a kid, someone hit me in the head with a lock. So he can't see anything out of here. So if I have 2 visions in my bottom, like one of my left eye is 3.75, the second one is 4.0, and I am 2-spirited. So if he comes within my lighthouse to see out of my 3rd eye, he can't see anything. Who do I go to adjust that? How do I adjust it?
Right. So as I said, when we deal with private and personal matters, we don't obviously do that on a live YouTube video. But again, we also don't really go into people's personal and private matters, because that is kind of private and personal. But the best advice would be to speak to us offline, and also to start to read the books and connect with the master teacher and try and make that spiritual connection with him as well. And then he'll be able to maybe take it further and answer some of your more personal questions. So yes, are you in our Telegram group already?
Yeah, somebody from your spirit team helped me get on it because I couldn't figure it out.
All right.
So I'm on it now.
Okay, so we can carry on with that conversation. And tack that here for.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Wow, I don't know this. Oh, he's gone. That brother, I think it was good for you. He was still asking questions. Okay, let's keep going with the questions. no distractions. But I do want to say that people do have personal experiences, and we have, you know, a scroll called Projection and Reflection that is a good scroll so that you can read to understand and know what's actually happening, whether or not it's in your mind's eye or if it's actually a real, you know, experience, or is it something that, you know, you've brought about by way of the images and things you've stored in your subconscious. Of course, we cannot generalize for everyone and every situation. Okay, let's keep going. What's the next steps for this process once those get locked? Again, this is what we will say to somebody, right? Somebody will ask a question like, how do I get involved? How do I join? How do I become a member? We'll say, go and speak to the people that are dealing with that, the administration. Go to the store, go and speak to people, and people will ask questions like, and what happens after that? But you haven't even done the first step. And those people are well qualified, that have been around and know what they will do to guide you. Sometimes we just have to be patient and follow simple instructions. Okay, let's keep going. I believe we humans were able to levitate at one point, but we lost that ability. Yes, that's correct. And these are the abilities we're trying to get back by way of learning and getting to be able to receive those back by, if you are fortunate enough to receive your barothry gland back, you will get those abilities to be able to use telepathy, psychometry, clairvoyance,
and
intuition, and more of your brain so that you can actually do things. The levitation also relates to you being able to have things like your appendix and your tonsils, and learning how to chant and do certain practices that you will learn through Wu-Sabat. You got another question? Yep. All right, Rahubat.
Rahubat, this is the last question for today. This came up again.
That's okay. That's why we're here. So you can keep asking questions.
Keep coming, man. Keep coming.
I don't want to hog up the question space.
No, it's all good. It's whoever gets through. First come, first serve. Go ahead.
So my question is, what are some of the ways to break the fear spell and the sleep spell? And when I say sleep spell, I mean that all these distractions that they hurl at us in social media and out here in the streets and, you know, in our society, how do you combat that? And with you know, the teachings, and you know what I mean? How do you do away with the fear spell and the sleep spell?
Sure.
How do you combat that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about fear is no matter how you say to someone, don't be afraid, they have to overcome that.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to say to someone, walk down this alley, there's no light, and don't be afraid. And that comes down to the person and their development from the inside out.
We only fear what we don't know, but once we know it, we no longer fear it.
Absolutely.
That's
fear
like,
is the only thing you really should fear. Fear itself. But like you say, how you do it is really putting in the practices of Wu-Sabat. Because once you know, you're confident. When you don't know something, that's when you're in doubt, you're afraid, you're scared,
hesitant.
But when you know something, you're confident and sound. Yeah. So right knowledge brings about that confidence. An analogy I would use is like you have two students that are going to take an exam, and they have a year to prepare for the exam by studying, turning up for classes, doing their homework, their assignments, their projects. This all reinforces the knowledge so that when that day comes to take the exam, right? So the other person who doesn't turn up to class, doesn't read the books, doesn't do the assignments, doesn't, just doesn't do the projects, or if they do, they don't take it seriously. They just just write whatever they want, hand it in last minute. And now the day comes for the exam. The person who has prepared is going to walk into that exam with confidence and sit the exam, do their best, and more than likely is going to succeed. The person who didn't do the work, they're going to be sweating, scared, trying to look over to the other person's book to see if they can get some answers. And they may be lucky. They may be lucky and just, you know, if there's a multiple choice, for example, you might just, and your ancestors might just guide your pen to tick the right boxes. However, you're still going to be feeling that anxiousness, the chaos, the fear, because you didn't prepare. This is what we're trying to explain with Wu-Sabat. We've had from 1970, when the master teacher opened the seventh seal and started to teach us, putting out all this information and books and for us to study. And you have many students. Some students just bought the books and put them on the shelf. Others bought them and they actually studied and really got into the books. So now, over 50 years later, because we had 60 years, from 1970 to the year 2000, that was 30 years, 1/2 hour. And then you got another, symbolically, and now you got from the year 2000 to 2030, the second 1/2 hour. And if you haven't studied and put into practice all the information he's been teaching, and you were aware of it from 1970, then you have no one to blame but yourself. Some people did, and then they fell back, and now they're catching back up. Some people are coming into Wu-Sabat for the first time, and they've come into it at the right time, because this is what he came to give. And we distracted him with questions about the Bible. And even now, today, we're trying to move forward. So you should be learning and studying the hereafter doctrine, master secrets, actual facts, Patarak. And we're still asking questions about Anunnaki and Abraham and Jesus. And that's just another distraction that's going to waste time, where he says, if you're here right now, you're here at the right time. So it doesn't matter if you've been here for 5 minutes or for 50 years, you're right on time. And it's about applying that Wu-Sabat that you're learning through classes, through the platforms, you know, through the scrolls, and I think once you're doing your researches as well, that's the main thing, because Master has always said that. He's always said, don't believe me, check it out, do your own research. So once you check it out and you find out it's facts, that's going to give you more confidence as well. Yeah, so that's what it's all about. And the second part to that question, that when you say sleep, sleep, that's what we call the spell of Kingu, the spell of sleep, because people are awake, as in you can see them with their eyes open walking around, but they're really asleep mentally. They're really asleep when they're not able to see things clearly. Clairvoyance, this is what clear vision, that's what you're meant to be able to see, and the wool can't be pulled over your eyes anymore once you start to study Wu-Sabat and put it into practice. So to break the spell of Kingu, or the spell of sleep, the spell of Leviathan, amnesia, it's like they call it the walking dead, because you're walking around but you're not conscious. So that's what Wu-Sabat does. It's supposed to ignite you and you get that DNA explosion, and that should make you start to see things clearly. Like if you take the biblical story of Adam and Eve in the garden, and they were told not to eat of that tree, right, which is known as the tree of knowledge, right? And they were in the garden walking around, so their eyes were open, because they could see the tree, they could see the so-called serpent, they could see each other. So when it is explained that when they ate the fruit of the tree, their eyes were open, what eyes are they talking about? This is what we're doing. Like, there are people walking around with their eyes open, but Wu-Sabat will ignite you. And then the serpent, this so-called serpent, told them, when you eat of the fruit, your eyes shall be open and you shall be like as God. To know good and evil. To know good from evil. Not to believe good and evil, to know. So you need to know, and know is the first part of the word knowledge,
Yeah.
right? So to know something, no one can then tell you different, you know, because if you don't know, you're dealing with belief, because belief is the acceptance of things without proof.
Yeah.
So you need to know, and to know, you have to study, you have to research, you have to check things out for yourself. Not because, oh, my brother's going to read all the books and then I will know. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. He might share and give me bits and pieces, but it's not the same as you learning and
And
studying
you get
and
people
knowing for
like that as
yourself.
well. Said that, my uncle's got loads of
Yeah.
books. You know what I mean? But what about you? You know what I mean? Your
My
uncle
uncle's
maybe
got
say,
loads of
"Well,
books.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I know all of this. My uncle was into it 30 years ago. I used to see the books. Did you read them?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's important to read. Oh, Tammy Harris, beautiful day. I have finally caught you live. Absolutely. In South America, I'm trying to catch up. Okay, Najmaj, if I'm pronouncing. Why do people always feel like they have to tell other people what to do? Hang up on this guy, laughing out loud. We want our questions answered. What's your question? You didn't even ask a question.
Who's this?
Ask a question and stop telling other people what to do. People have their own minds and can make up their own decisions.
Yeah, phone in if you have a question.
Yeah, phone in and ask a question. Let's keep going. I have, oh, that's his question. Can you explain who the lady is that is allegedly in communication with Chris Bledsoe? I mean, why don't you ask her? How can I explain the lady who's, no, I can't, I don't even know what lady you're talking about. And this is not, this platform is not about Chris Bledsoe, whoever that is. That was a question. After saying to everyone to hang up, that's his question or her question. We ain't got time for distractions. Okay, this good for you. He says, oh, it's just, yeah. He says you. Okay, that's somebody else.
Yeah.
Go on.
Did Dr. Malachi teach that Wu-Sabat is for everyone or just for black people? Wu-Sabat is universal knowledge for anyone that will accept it. That's why he gave you the statement, no one wins the race in racism. So it's for anyone that will accept the information.
Tua, I got quite an important one here. So I actually forgot to say condolences to the sister that called about her brother, but we've got somebody here, May Lewis, that is saying, my cousin, she died yesterday in her sleep. Can you explain what happens to the spirit soul? Does it know what it's no longer alive? Sorry to keep asking. Firstly, condolences for your cousin. And this is why Wu-Sabat is so important, because you want to be prepared for this transition.
Afterlife.
Yeah, the afterlife. And this is what the master teacher has been teaching us. And we go into detail, like he has a master secret called the spiritual you after the physical you dies, right? And a lot of times people wait till it's, I wouldn't say too late, but the last moment to get onto Wu-Sabat so they can learn and prepare and know about these dimensions or these realms. And so it all depends on the person. When you say what will happen to them, it all depends on the level of their growth in terms of their spiritual body and you say soul. If they had a soul or didn't have a soul, and does it know it's no longer alive? In the realms that you go to, in the spiritual realm, you're as real in that realm as you are real in this realm. It's just governed by different laws and vibrations. Yeah. But yeah, if you could get some of those scrolls like soul, spirit, 30...
Is there life after death?
30 spirits, is there life after death? Like I said already, the spiritual you after the spirit. The spiritual you after the physical you dies, and many other scrolls that the master covers this subject in great details. The 24 elders is another one. All right, we've got another caller. Hey, Kaiser again. Right, Rahul back, go ahead.
Hi, Rahul back to
Rahul back.
Yes. Thank you. Every time you talk, and then I think of a question that comes up after the call,
Right.
and and I hear you talk, and then I get
Yeah,
a
it sparks
message. I don't
something
know.
of, yeah, I hear
To
you.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing is, I had a dream before. I had a dream I was flying before, like Superman, a couple of times,
Right.
and I passed through a city underpass, and I see children, I see people, and I'm flying. It was so awesome. Like I dreamed like that. I'm not sure like where they came from, but that's something that I want to know. Maybe if you could know what that mean. And another thing is the question was like, what's really the aurora borealis? I know you guys. Do you know? Have you heard of that? It's called the
Yes.
aurora
Yes.
borealis.
Yes, we
Something
have.
like.
Okay.
Like I don't know. I heard that maybe it was used to be the tree of life was there, and then there's colors like very beautiful if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Borealis?
Yeah. We know what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah, like they think. Yeah, that's like so the dream. Like in your dream, um, you know, am I able to like astral project and see other planets? Like how do you do that?
Yes. This is what we call traveling. When people go to sleep and dream, you have different types of dreams, and yes, you can travel, astral project, and go to different places. You can even do it with remote viewing and in the meditative state as well. So, but obviously, you know where you've gone to and what you experienced, and we do keep saying that we don't really go into people's personal experiences.
Unless I was there.
Yeah, exactly. If I was there, then we can talk about it. But so that's that. The aurora borealis,
Northern Lights.
the northern
Yeah.
lights. It's really dealing with the central sun in the inner earth, where we have cities. The master explained to us that because you have a central sun and you have an outer sun, and then you yourself also has a sun internally, the planet to cool itself has to rotate and so that it's in the shadow state. This is what people are calling night and day. And he just said that when the lights are seen is due to, I can't remember.
The Crystal City, the reflection of the Crystal City.
Yeah, there are crafts above the planet as well, and they reflect. I can't remember it's such a long time I actually read
I think that was
information.
Shambhala and Agrita.
Yeah, there's a scroll Shambhala Nagrata.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to revisit
Yeah.
that, but yeah, it's to do with the cooling of the planet and those lights being seen at certain times with the alignments. But what we'll do, we'll look into that and give you further information in the Telegram group. So anybody that is in the Telegram group, you will also benefit from that information. But yeah, it's dealing with the central sun in the inner caverns of the earth.
How do you pray in Wu-Sabat? This is S again.
How do you pray? Where's that one?
S is just saying.
Again, prayer, we covered that.
Yeah.
We
The art of speaking without listening. Meditation is the art of listening without speaking. So in the prayer, we give reference and respect to our ancestors, Panatharu.
Yeah, I mean, prayer is communication and it's internal. And when we were going through, because most people learn about prayer through religion and the schools of religion. And most of the time, what do? Tell you to close your eyes, put your hands together, kneel, and then beg God or whatever deity you're calling on to give you the things you want. Whereas we know that we never worshipped anybody and never really prayed in the same way that the religious world teaches you, because it was borrowed from us. Because originally, what we used to do is respect our ancestors. And respect nature. We gave reverence to the sun because we understood that without the sun there would be no life in terms of crops, etc. We understood about water, about the air, and the elements. So others started to worship us, initially being those Hindus that kind of saw us and then gave reverence to us. Later on, it was flip mode, and we started to worship, especially when these Anunnaki and the tablets, with Tammuz, etc. You had to go through this one deity according to to the religious books, and so the master put out books called Taful and Tafulat, and then Ashutat later on, which was showing us how our ancestors used to respect nature, and those positions like raising our hands to the sun, sitting down in meditation, those positions got copied. You can see them in the on the pyramids in Egypt, and then Islam borrowed those as well. And then now you look at their prayer positions, and they've been copied from that. You can find this information in the Black Book by the Master Teacher Pandava Byanun. So,
and El Mugaraj as well.
And El Mugaraj. So prayer is about communicating with your ancestors, and we do that by way of, rituals and having an altar, and we prepare that, and we direct communication with our ancestors, which is why we're referred to as animist, because if you want to, say what is our religion, if you have to use that term, we will say we're animist. And that means we respect our ancestors, we communicate with them because we're part of their bloodline, and we're connected to them, and we also, give reverence
and respect to nature.
This is what an animist is, and that goes through our cultures. Even in Yoruba, in its original form, that's what they did, and that's really being animist, knowing about the bloodline, knowing about their ancestors, and knowing that they can respect nature and so on and so forth. But of course, many of our culture practices became diluted, mixed in with religious practices by, the three frogs, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So, so that's what prayer is. It's a communication, and you should receive a response. It might not be instantaneous, but look out for the signs of what it is you're asking for, and you'll see that they do respond. Does crypto have anything to do with the constellation? Because there are a lot of cryptos. I know, I noticed that too, that has the same name like Ether, Stellar, Jupiter. Yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, I mean, they probably use the names of those constellations, being that it's an advanced currency, the future currency, and nobody seems to know, well, they say they don't know who created crypto, but we do know that, yeah, I mean, coincidence, we don't know in terms of if crypto is. I noticed that years ago as well when I started to see Ether and yeah, all these names for the crypto coins. Snow is nature as well. Trying to catch up and see what other questions we've got.
I've got one there for Metamorphosis. I don't hear much about the guardian angels nowadays.
Sorry, you know what? Let's deal with it. This good for you, brother. Like, we already answered the question. You're saying we're not answering the question. We're saying we support Parnabab Yanun 1,000%. We're never going to stop supporting him. We're going to fight for his freedom because he's innocent. If you want to know about the case, do your diligent studies on the case, and you will find that he is being accused of things that other people did, which had nothing to do with him. He will be exonerated. The facts are coming out. More and more facts will come out. And so I don't know why you're just trying to distract and keep going on about it. We've already told you, perhaps you would want us not to support him, but that's never going to happen. So,
if you want more information, you can check out the Free Dr. Yuke's channel on Clubhouse.
Yeah,
if you really want to know the truth, or if you're just here to like try and sabotage, it ain't going to work here. you're in the wrong space.
And he's saying we're ignoring him. We have not ignored you at all. Yeah, and yeah, come. You said you're coming to the store. Come to the store. Okay. Yeah, we're welcoming to everyone, and I would suggest definitely that you do some research on the case if you're really interested. If you want to help. If you're not interested, then, you know what I mean, feel free to go ahead and live your life. What's this? I've just projected Netanyahu. Well, that's, yeah. Let's keep going with serious people. Okay, now good for you. I mean, I'm seeing some of these comments. One of the mods might have to just remove you because it's getting insultive and disagreeable. We don't really want to entertain that, so I'm just going to ignore that. Let's move on.
Well, he's just showing his true colours, isn't it? If he's acting like that. If you're not here for the truth, why are you here?
Yeah, exactly. Anyone with serious questions? Let's keep going. Can you explain? Oh yeah, I've already answered that. No more. Your master teacher is doing. All right. It's him again. Okay, leave that alone. How do you pray in Wu-Sabat? Okay, we've answered already. I've been gifted as a child. What can I do to enhance my gifts? It depends on what gifts, and you can do that by learning. I mean, Wu-Sabat actually covers stuff like, you know, we spoke about the golden children and many things to do with your gifts. People that have gifts and say they're gods and they have gifts and have, you know, the one way to really show that you do is to put it into practice and, you know, put it into practice. Be the best that you can be. Shine forth your gifts and your powers to the world by doing great things, helping, you know, with Wu-Sabat, if that's what you're about.
I've got one here from Boogeyman of the Law.
Yeah, go ahead.
My mother is African and my father is Indian. Does that mean that I'm a 9 ether or not?
Yeah, I mean, did he say his father is African?
He said his mother's African and his father's Indian.
Yep, once you have African blood, you're African. And obviously the mixture will mean that you're not, in terms of your, maybe your hair or, you know, your genetics is not going to be as potent. Yeah. But you know, anybody that has Nagaru or Negroid blood is a Negroid. Yeah, I mean, again, if there's no evidence, why is he in prison? I mean, come on, like, we can go into pro, we can go into all the leaders that have been framed and people have been lied on and even unalived, I mean, assassinated. If you look at the history of our people and anyone that is righteous, even Jesus Christ was what? He was framed and murdered. Gandhi, who else has come on this planet and tried to give you, you know, the right way or righteousness, and what happened to them according to
But it's not even a colour thing, because it's like anyone that is here to uplift the human race, they will take down. Bill Cooper, the brother, the guy that wrote The Pale Horse, look what happened to him.
Yeah, AI was created by extraterrestrials, Guada 9. Yeah, pray, P-R-A-Y to P-R-E-Y, because some people are prey to these extraterrestrials who are looking for food, and that's why they maybe tell you to close your eyes when you're praying. The next minute, you're food for the gods on the menu.
On the dinner plate, baby.
Yeah, so, you know, pray with one eye open. We're joking, but it's also not funny. Anyway, time will tell. We'll see who will, in terms of the future that's unfolding, or the soothsayers and the doubters and the people that, you know, are saying all the things they want to say about the God Dr. Malachi Z. York.
God in the flesh.
God in the flesh.
Real extraterrestrial amongst us. Real
Yeah.
deal.
And the thing is, he was teaching this. He's the pioneer for all of this. And now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon talking about the stuff he was telling us 30, 40 years ago.
From the 60s, he's been talking about this.
Okay, these callers are talking too much. Ask a question or hang up. Yeah, it's true though. We do want to just get questions, direct questions, in the chat or on the calls, so we can address the questions and you can learn about, you know, Wu-Sabat. Wu-Sabat is for everyone and anyone who would listen, take heed and put it to practice. Any more questions?
Can we get some clarity on the Hindu pantheon and the blue deities that are depicted? This is from...
Again, the Hindu deities are explained in the Holy Tablets, chapter called, I think it's the Scientists, in great detail. Again, these are species that had their own beginnings in different star systems, one of them being Nirvana, and their books are like the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, they've got many scrolls, and they're part of the fallen angels that were cast down here into the place people call India or Bali. Not all of them were disagreeable. They're agreeable and disagreeable too, just like, you know, the Anunnaki and other beings. So when people say give information about, there's so much information. It's like, I didn't see the question. I think you read it out. So what was the rest of it? Something about blue.
Yeah, blue deities that are depicted.
Right. So you can see even in ancient Egypt,
Yeah.
our ancestors had different colors, like Osiris, green,
yeah.
topaz. It's because of the environment in which they reside. So whatever environment you're in, that will have an effect on your being. So for example, if you lived on a planet which had like risk 3 suns, then it's going to be a different environment than what you're used to, because there's always sun because the 3 suns are always at one stage point on the planet. So it depends on the environment they were in and where they come from, why they're depicted with a particular color.
Because our original color was green, but when the magnesium got replaced the iron, that's when we became brown.
That's right. And if you were in water all the time, your complexion changes. You look more gray. I'm not racist, but if it's for everyone, would you think that corruption and chaos can come from the other races wanting money, gold, or wanting control? You know, the thing is, if you don't deal with people, places, and things, there are many people, many races that are having the spiritual experience and growth as well, that they want peace as well on the planet. So it's not a racist thing. It's just that for once, when you have a Negroid that is speaking on this level and uniting people, charity begins at home, as they say. He was sent to us. Everyone else has had their warnings sent to them, including Joseph Smith of the Mormons and many people. But when these people come and they're teaching their people, others who resonate with the message, Buddha and, you know, many people, then it's down to the people if they resonate with it and want to join in. And these spiritual masters, they given a message that's universal. So yeah, it's for everyone, but obviously he was sent to us and as Negroes or Nagaru, but it's open to everyone. Right, Junita Garcia, thank you for your donation. What is the overall intention for mankind on Earth? It's for us to grow and evolve and again, when you say
That's
mankind,
how you was reading my book. I mean, that's how I said it. That
yeah,
mankind.
words are,
Yeah.
this is what the spell does. Words are very tricky. There's technology and subtleties in the word. So when you're saying mankind, you're talking about a kind of a man. And this is really dealing with these Adamites.
That's it.
So they're getting wiped off the face of the earth for their atrocities and the chaos. And when it's time for a species to become extinct,
Nature takes them out.
nature does what it has to do. Because we want a place, you know, we want heaven on earth, right? As people put it. We want to be peaceful, and we want to get rid of all the chaos and the wars and the, you know, the deaths and things like that. So, yeah, 6 ether forces, it's time for them to go. And those who subscribe to 6 ether forces are going to act and behave like those deities, and they are also putting themselves at risk.
Because this planet was originally Nupu, you know, for the positive beings, and then when Zupu came into effect, that's when things went haywire or upside down.
Again, this question from Tay himself. It says, feel like I share a resemblance to Apsu. Been reading up on Panda Babyanun's books for a year now, but I want to know why it's such a strong feeling. Again, your feeling, your strong feeling, only you can really determine. Maybe you're related in some way to the bloodline. We can't tell you why you have such a strong feeling to Apsu, but the thing is that everyone on the planet has a bloodline, and that bloodline could be with the Anunnaki. And you can have a bloodline directly to the Natharu. You could have a bloodline directly linked to other beings that have come here and have mixed, because there are so many mixes on the planet now. But obviously, you will know and connect to the beings or the ancestors that you're related to in some way.
RH positive or RH negative?
There you go. Will we still be alive during World War III? World War III has been going on for a very long time, and you're still here. It's the thing about war. People just remember textbooks from history of World War I and World War II.
1949.
Yeah, that war is fought on a different level now, mentally, spiritually. It's going on. A cyber war is going on. Spiritual war is going on. So, but it's a good question, because it's about, are you going to survive the dimensional shift, the consciousness shift? Because you have to raise your vibration in this new sun cycle to make it. And this is what Wu-Sabat is here to do. I wonder, was I answered on this question? Why, when we die, we are buried facing the sky, and head of the grave should face east, or is it culture or an adopted concept from the Western world? Yeah, I mean, that's, again, these are the things we say. If you don't belong to a culture, and you're just going to go with whatever is being done in the West or wherever you are at. Whereas in ancient times, in our culture, we cremate at the moment, and we have rituals that we do. All of these things, this is why for you to be a part of Wu-Sabat and a part of the culture, then you understand the rites and everything that we do. You know, it's by design and has a purpose. We don't just do things for the sake of it. And yeah, being buried is not what we recommend at the moment by way of our teachings, because it keeps you here, trapped here, because it takes a long time for your body to decompose. And you know, the blood is in the marrow of the bone, and life is in the blood, and you're connected here, and you're kind of trapped here until you fully decompose. But they make sure they preserve you in a casket that is quite solid in wood that takes ages to actually rot and before it even gets to you. So yeah, be a part of a culture. Each culture will do different things pertaining to the way they do things in their culture. Okay, that's that one. We have anyone in your community have dreams about what? Rap Nui Island being safe during the next war America declares. We won't know about other people's dreams. I mean, again, that's something that we can't really comment on. Let me read the question again. Have anyone your community have dreams about Rap Nui Island being safe during the next war America declares? Don't know what war you're talking about. What do you think the Haitian Revolution in 1804 and they win by using voodoo? Voodoo is a science, and you know, in our culture, what people are calling voodoo is just us knowing how to manipulate and do certain things, call on our ancestors, and you know. But obviously, with everything, has been desecrated and other influences, and now people are using sacrifices, blood sacrifices, and doing all kinds of stuff, and we don't subscribe to anything that
shedding of blood,
or offering some kind of sacrifice. But it's just the same way in the, you know, the slavery of Africans, when beings were able to call on their ancestors and carry out certain rituals, you know, the enslavers were afraid and scared of, and this ties into what I was saying in terms of Yoruba and being able to call on their ancestors and chant and do certain things that, you know, help them. So that kind of relates. Archangels. Okay, that's not a question. Okay, I think people are talking and just responding.
I've got one there, Metamorphosis. How does one break through the wickedness of this world that blocks the golden children, the golden child, our golden children, sorry.
Do you want to answer it? Oh, go, question. You finish that.
Through Wu-Sabat.
What was the question?
How does someone break through the wickedness of this world that blocks golden children?
Again, that just comes down to you transforming yourself, because, you know, you attract and project what's in you, and you break through, as my brother said, Asaru said, is by transforming yourself and also being a part of a community of Wu-Sabat that, you know, brings things that will change those things that we're talking about. Crystal C, thank you for your donation. Can you please speak on advice for the golden children who are unaware of their power? How can they evolve above the illusion of 3D? This is what we're doing with Wu-Sabat. We have to, this information reaches anyone who it reaches who may be a golden child. It should resonate with them, and they should then be drawn to Parnabab Yanun, who has to actually activate them. Yeah. And so once they start to read the information, read the scrolls, it will connect with them and it will resonate with them, and then they just have to build and be protected by way of the community with the things that they're supposed to be doing. Because remember, you've also got the fire children who are going to relate to them because they have similar like powers and similar gifts, and they will think that they're like them, and they will lead them astray and take them, you know, into that world, the entertainment world, or, you know, looking for material things and so on and so forth. So yeah, we are supposed to reach out to the world, to all these children and to the golden children.
Mighty Dot, hello, do you know about the IGBO origins and the ghost DNA connections.
IGBO origins. I don't know what that's about.
IGBO origin. And
Oh, that Igbo. What? Read it again. I think it's Igbo.
Okay, hello. Do you know about the IGBO origins and the ghost DNA connection?
I don't know about what you're calling ghost DNA connection, but yeah, if you're saying Igbo, because that's a tribe in Africa, the master spoke about them being one of those original tribes, like the Yoruba, who are connected to the Pataites, if that's what you mean. But in terms of, I don't know about
Ghost DNA connection.
I don't know what you mean by ghost DNA connection. So we'll have to come back to that one. When meditating, what should we meditate to, or should we just sit with ourselves? Meditation takes skill. We actually literally put out the video called Visualization, which is by Parna Babyanun, that he walks you through what you should be doing during that, when you're meditating. And we've made it also like 9 hours, so you can literally meditate to it for as long as you like. And he guides you, tells you what to do and how to focus and
visualization.
Yeah. If there are only 3 races, black, white, and Asian, then what do the Native Americans and Hispanic races belong to? That's from John Lopez.
Okay.
You have to study and listen to what we say with great attentiveness, right? So there are not 3 races. What we teach is there are 3 root races, okay? So what you're calling black, there's no such thing as black, there's no such thing as white, but we're talking about the original beings being the Negroid, or we say Nagaru, and then you have the Mongoloid, which would be what you're calling Asian. Then you will have the Caucasoid, which would be the Europeans. And, anthropologists, they classify these as the Homo naledi, the Homo habilis, that will be the black, or what you're calling black or African. Then you'll have the Denisovan and the Homo florensis, which you're calling the Asians. And then you'll have the Cro-Magnon and the Neanderthal, which will be your Caucasian. However, you also have mixtures between these 3 root races that produce sub-races, all right? And then you have another hybrid race, which is known as the neutrinoid race, which is a combination of many sub-races or root races that produce a being that you can't tell which one of the root races they belong to. And those are referred to as the neutrinoid race. So when you say, where do the Native Americans come from? When you say Native American, you have to remember that the Native Americans are a mixture of the original newborns that walked over to America and became known as the Olmecs, and then the Chinese came and mixed through Husheng dynasty, mixed with these Olmecs to produce what we're calling Native Americans, or now people say American Indians, because they have the Oriental looks. When you look at those tribes that are known as Native Americans, you can see clearly their features relate to those Chinese features that mixed with the Olmecs to produce them. All right, so that's where Native American and what you're calling Hispanic races belong to. Okay, we've covered that question. We've already covered that. What better, cremation or underground when you die? We've covered that. Are orbs just energy beings or crafts? They're both, because everything is energy to begin with. And secondly, when you're dealing with crafts or intelligence of that level, they can morph. So their crafts morph because they're not using normal technology as you may know it, as in just purely aerodynamics. Go ahead.
Someone's Capo Lee
Yeah.
He says that he's seen an extraterrestrial in the corner of his room, and he's taken a picture, and this is it.
Okay. And what's his question?
What do you think of that?
Do you know what? There's so much going on right now in the world. Anything is possible. I'm not going to say it isn't or it is. I wasn't there. Could be a good Photoshop. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm not saying it is.
Yeah.
But like,
We know extraterrestrials exist.
we know they exist. So if you've seen one,
Yeah.
have a conversation, make friends.
Yeah, you get some notes.
Get to
down.
know.
Yeah.
Get to know, because why is it there? Why your room, and why not have a conversation and appear to them? We have an extraterrestrial with us, but he chooses to talk and speak to us, and we can understand the language, So, yeah, we can't dispute people's experience,
Yeah, that's it.
but we also know that people can have what do you call it? Hallucinations,
yeah.
visions, all kinds of stuff. So if that's your personal experience, we can't make friends.
Shall I show them
Who?
the audience?
You can if you want, yeah. You know what? Can you actually share screens and stuff on YouTube?
No.
Okay.
Well, we can eventually.
Yeah.
But not like this.
All right. Yeah, you can if you.
Let me open both the pictures. For them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just confirmation that to let you know that extraterrestrials exist. Or not, so
Yeah.
I'll focus it.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. There's always a first for everything on this live. So.
So that's it there.
Okay. You got it, yeah. Hey, listen, Wu-Sabat, we speak about everything and anything, because none of this is new to us. But yeah, I do find it interesting when people have these encounters or like meet beings, but they don't talk to them and get more information and find out, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Why are you here? How did you get here?
What language do you speak
What
on
language
the
you
planet?
speak?
Yeah.
What do you want with me? Etc. Etc. It's always like, what do you think? And tell us to answer the question. I'm like, bro, we weren't there, so we don't really know. But it's good that you're sharing
That's it.
and you're feeling comfortable that you can share with us. How can I find a physical copy of the Holy Tablets? Can someone point me in the right direction? I mean, there are many people who maybe have spare copies or that are selling their versions. Yeah, I mean, you can
eBay
look
or
at eBay, Amazon, even though some people are exploiting people with the prices. That goes to show you how valuable the master's words are. That, I've seen the Holy Tablets being sold for like £1,000.
Yeah.
I've seen people trying to bootleg it and copy it, and it just looks mad. It looks about this big compared to the original one. And the thing is, for the reason they can sell it for that, because how many thousand pages does the Holy Tablets have on it? It has so many pages. And to even photocopy that at, let's say, 10 pence a copy, it's going to cost over £1,000 or quite a lot of money. So we don't encourage anyone to buy any bootleg, fake stuff, PDFs and all of that, because it's infringement of intellectual property and copyright. And you're doing it at your own risk, because eventually legal action will be taken on anybody that is infringing on a person's intellectual property and copyright. So the environment and the food of sustenance changes the color of the skin from Earth's visible spectrum point of eyesight view. Okay, that was not a question. If you find any that, because what I'm doing now, I'm just scrolling through because to find, the ones that most people will benefit from. Oh, did we cover Mighty Dot? No, we didn't. Mighty Dot, thank you so much for your appreciation. I once had a dream saying I will be my family's savior, but they are just so stuck on religion. Right, that's is that Bogeyman? Yeah, Bogeyman off the law. Yeah, that's a challenge for you. You have to raise yourself to be able to answer their questions, and by way of your example, You know, you never know. Don't give up. What other questions do we have?
King Real, I'm a new subscriber. What exactly does Wu-Sabat mean? Appreciate the knowledge. Well, Wu-Sabat is an African spiritual science here to uplift us, breaking the spell of ignorance, the spell of self-hatred, which was set down by the Master Teacher or Panabab Yanun. So Wu-Sabat is our way of life.
And the word Saba ties into the sun. Yeah, from, as we say, Sabatat, Wu-Sa'at. So yeah, it's dealing with the science of our ancestors. And when we say those words, we're talking about the Orion and the Sirius star constellations, which were their homes as well. So yeah, we just connect back to our ancestors from the sun, those suns known as Orion and Sirius. And yeah, and it came onto the planet, and this is the original way of life for peace, harmony, and unity on the planet. But other beings also came here and caused the chaos and the confusion. Then they were actually like quarantined to an area known as Zupu, and they still managed to mix in with the beings that were in the zone called Nupu and create chaos and confusion. And now people are in Zupu when they should be in Nupu, and in Nupu when they should be in Zupu. So we have to separate the 6 ether forces and those disagreeable beings from the 9 ether beings and those that are agreeable. And you know, that's what Wu-Sabat does. It gets to the point where you study to know and learn about who you really are. And then if you're a child of the Natharu, you will resonate and turn yourself inside out by way of Wu-Sabat. Okay. Thank you to everyone that's also helping to answer some questions, all the Sabians and Nuwapians and truth seekers and those that are doing a good job in answering some of the questions.
There is Sophia Jardine. Second, I'm a bit confused. Can you clarify why the Caucasian race is part of the root race and not the Hindus?
Say that again. What's the question?
It says, Second, I'm a bit confused on, can you clarify why the Caucasian race is part of the root race and not the Hindus?
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
That's misquoting. What we say and what I said is that you have three root races.
Yeah.
And those three root races, root meaning the closest to the first, right? The root. And then other races mixed with those root races to produce. So everyone on the planet would come from the original root race first, which would be
Sans.
the Nagaru,
Nagaru, yeah.
right? Which became the Sans people, as you're saying. And then everyone else comes from that. So even when you're saying the Hindu beings, those have brown skin, but they have 6 ether hair. So they were the next from us, which with the Asians, that's tied into what we call the Asian or the Mungalu, the Javalu. So then from them you get the Caucasian. So if you look going backwards, the most potent is the African, then the second would be the Asian, and then the third would be the Caucasian. Because when you're saying Caucas Asian, you're saying a being that's Asian that has
Deficient.
deteriorated or lost the color. So if you look at it, you have black, woolly hair, dark skin, then you move on to that would be primary, then you go to secondary, it would be still dark skin, but now with 6 ether hair, which is, when you deal with hair, you're dealing with proteins, and the most potent is going to be 9 ether. Then you come from that, you look at the Caucasian, you see a being that's now lost the complexion in the dark, and then they still have the 6 ether hair. And then when you look at the neutrinoid race, there will be a combination of the three root
three,
races.
yeah.
So yeah, I hope that's helped you to clarify it. Is there a book I can read about Wu-Sabat by way of download? I'm in Nigeria, but just can't afford any of the materials yet. Okay, I mean, this is why we put the online course together as well, because then that's what you're calling electronic version of information that you can digest. But you see, this is a thing with us as a people, like the more we come together, economics, it's about buying in bulk to make the prices cheap. So if we have communities all over the world and we're able to then buy in bulk, for lack of a better word, so that we can push and make things cheaper and accessible and, you know, even free to people. But we have to come together to work, to build, to be able to do that. This is what other races do, where, you know, they will buy in bulk. So that by buying in bulk, you force the manufacturers, the printers, etc., to bring the prices right down. Because the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So we're working by way of anybody and people around the globe that want to be a part of our community to get involved. But we keep telling everyone we give out so much free information anyway. The master teacher has been teaching for so long with so many videos that are free. We do the same. Go on our YouTube channel, learn, study those classes, go on Clubhouse. So there's no excuse really, because the books and the information is from the books that we teach. So get as much of that first, and then when you're in a position and able to get your own scrolls, you can do so. The master used to just give out free when he was around, you know, because that's what he does. We want to translate the books into all different types of languages as well. So yeah, help us, get involved.
This one here from S. If someone has practice of their African culture, why should they drop it?
Who told? Sorry, go on.
Why should they drop that and join Wu-Sabat culture?
Well, it depends on which African culture you're
yeah.
practicing and what you're doing, because a lot of what people are calling African culture has been infiltrated and has been desecrated with other races influencing them. If that's not the case, we're not saying you should drop your African culture. Your culture is your culture, and it comes under the umbrella of Wu-Sabat if it's in alignment with what Wu-Sabat teaches, you see. But a lot of the times it has been messed about with Europeans or Arabs or someone else. So unless you tell us exactly what the culture is, and if you don't want to join Wu-Sabat and you want to keep practicing your culture, you can do that also. Wu-Sabat is the highest form of information, culture that you will get on the planet. So this is why when we say speak the language of Miss Batia, because if you go to Africa, there are going to be millions of different cultures, millions of dialects, millions of languages, and everyone's going to fight to want to keep their own. Whereas Wu-Sabat levels the playing field, and we all have to learn it, and everybody, and it's actually even more potent anyway in terms of the vibration. So we're trying to stop the separation, but of course you can speak and learn more than one language, but we come under one umbrella, one people, united, and we can then move forward and do more.
I mean, if your culture requires you killing or slaughtering of animals, we don't practice that in Wu-Sabat. No shedding of blood.
But you haven't said, you haven't said what African culture you're referring to, so we can't really go into more detail. Mel, what information do you have to share about male oracle and their role in modern society?
Yeah, I did see that one.
Male oracles.
I don't feel like I think of Sabine man, but I don't know.
I mean, again, when we say oracles, like it's just so open. There are people who claim to be all sorts, and yeah, we can't really go into that unless you give us specific details. What are mermaids? Some questions you can actually just Google. mermaids are beings that live underwater. Our ancestors first were in the waters before we came onto land, and you have mermen and mermaids, sirens. But yeah, I mean, when you ask a question that is so broad, it's hard for us to go in detail because it's just like saying what are trees. We can give you a little bit, but be specific.
But yeah, in that course you have the 8 oblasts, isn't it?
Yeah.
That will be dealing with Amunet, Ketkiket, Hetkiket, and Nunet. So those will be male and female.
Right, we're coming up to the last 13 minutes. It's gone so quickly, yeah. So I'm just trying to go through, see if there are any important questions. Remember, if we don't get a chance to answer your question, if you can join the Telegram group, we can carry on with the question. I'm going to go from the bottom up to see. I already have Latina stalking me and my family. Okay, I don't know. I'm afraid about all races will influence. I'm from America. Okay, this is a good one. Outlaw TX. I'm from America, not Africa. Shout out Shaka Zulu in all them, but not every black person came from Africa. See, we've answered this question before, and I will address it because it's important. When you say where you're from, people think it's about where they're at or the location where you're at. That's not what makes you from Africa. What makes you from Africa is the DNA. And yes, before the continental drift, people that were already on the side that is being called America today were already there. So they don't see themselves as being brought from Africa. But in terms of when we're saying Africa, you're dealing with the DNA, not the place. It's like people say, I'm from Trinidad, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from here, I'm from there. Those are just locations. You're not a location. And yeah, so that's kind of where knowledge comes into place, where you have to study and realize that whether you like it or not, they still call people in America African American. And the word America is actually from the Amirs
Incas,
and the Incas, as I was explaining. With those, when you're dealing with these Incas, you're dealing with these mixtures, like we said, the Chinese and the Olmecs and so forth. So when you're saying America, you're dealing with the Amirs and the Incas put together to give you the word America. So it's not really about titles or location, it's about your DNA and your bloodline. And everyone will accept their roots go right back to Africa, whether you want to accept that or not. Again, this is a very, very broad question. What will happen to those who took the vaccine? I mean, we'll see. We'll wait and see. Is maths considered a language throughout the universe among all beings, energies? Please share examples. Much appreciated, love. Yes, it is, but not all throughout the universes, because different beings have advanced so far beyond what you're calling maths. But certainly in the three-dimensional world, it is a language because, you know, it's discrete. It gives you, like they try and tell you in religion, Christianity, that there are 3 in 1, you know, which is not mathematically correct. 3 divided by 1. Okay, so yeah, maths is a language, and their beings are so far advanced that they don't use the same, what we call mathematics. Since we've all been crafted, genetically modified by various beings, agreeable and disagreeable, and also mixed races, how will we know which beings to side with? You side with the beings that you resonate with. You have many beings that have come here to teach, and those that are from different races. So we, as Natharu or Nagaru, we resonate with Parnabab Yanun. And if you resonate with that, again, when you're dealing with genetics, a lot of people don't even know their full genetic makeup in terms of you, unless you actually do your own. And these days they're sending you to websites like
Ancestors.
yeah, and they tell you you're this, you're that, but how do you know for sure? We've actually got a live call, so we're gonna take this, and we have 8 minutes left before we close out. Hey, Rahul back. Kaiser.
Oh,
Rahul
hey,
back.
it's Kai.
Hey Kai, how you
Rahul
doing? Ashok.
Yes. Yes, the love, divine love. We were all one, and you are everything, and everything is you. Just saying
Tua.
to the family and us, we are all family.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All part of Papaut.
Exactly.
So yes, I love that about Wu-Sabat, and gratitude and all the praises and thanks to Pada Babiano, my Baba, my father.
Absolutely, 100%.
I just had to say that, I get gratitude where it's due,
Absolutely.
So yeah, man. Yeah. I was thinking about, I learned about who's Mother Huba. Now, she's the one who created the reptilian race. So I think I learned about that's the sister of Anu. So Anu likes to multiply. Everything is multiplied, and they have a tactic of dividing and minusing. So did Mother Huba really, by the way, she's Anu's sister, so she was jealous of her brother. So she secretly devised a way to kind of combat Anu. So she created the reptilians. So is this true about Mother Huba? So most people don't know, first of all, about Mother Huba, and that's a good question because is she responsible for the reptilian race? And Anu created the cat beings like Thundercats. So what are those beings? The feline beings.
Okay, again, where is the references that you're getting that information from? Because people will hear things and try and maybe tie it to what Wu-Sabat is, and maybe confusing. So it's always good to let us know, where did you get that information from?
I watched Young Adler's Galactic Family of Life tape.
Yeah, I knew that's where it was coming from. So I just wanted to be clear. And those questions would have to be put to the young elder, because some of the information that he puts out, I haven't seen or heard of it from Pana Babyanun. And so I don't comment on other people's information like that. We try as best to stick to Wu-Sabat and the master teacher.
So then the question would be, who made the reptilian race? Because that's what I want to know.
Right, but when you say reptilian race, there are many species of reptilian race. We are classified as reptilians ourselves, and it depends on where you're, like the origins of that race, because as I said, there's so many different beginnings. People think in a religious mindset as if, like there's a being that just creates, like the Adam and Eve story, and it's not like that, because depending on where the origin of the beings are coming from would determine how they came about and how they were created. When you say create,
I heard when I studied and I watched the video, he's saying like Anu is the Most High God, and he's in charge of our sector in the galaxy. So
right. You mean when you say he, you're talking about the young elder, right?
No, I'm talking about Anu, N-U-L.
No, I'm saying where you getting the information.
Well, I learned, I watched a video from your elder about his Galactic Media Life tape, but
that's what I'm saying, that Anu, there are different Anus, and the Anu is a title that literally means the most high and the highest, and that was relating to the 9th Anu that is spoken about in the Holy Tablets. But if you watch the Anunnaki video that we did, we explained that you have 9 Anus prior to that, or 8 Anus, and some of them didn't even come down here. Some of them didn't come into the physical form. So that's why I'm saying that when people are saying information that I haven't come across or heard from the master teacher, because some of the things people talk about is based on their experience. They say they traveled and went you know, to different realms, and they experience something and then they write it out and then share it with other people. And then people then mix it up with the information that the master teacher has taught. So that's why it's very important that
person doesn't exist. There doesn't. So is Mother Huba not real? That's somebody that, like I said, basically is Anu's sister. And she
right. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying where's the reference where you're getting that information other than from the video?
I just watched his video. So,
Right.
Yeah, I would like the right answer.
That's what I'm saying. Like I mean, I haven't seen it in the book, because when we're talking about the ninth Anu, we are told his parents are Ansha and Keisha, right? So that's what I'm saying. So it's like, unless you give me a book and a quote from the book that the master has written to say something.
No, I don't have a book.
No, I'm not saying use. I'm speaking in terms of like anyone listening as well, not just directly to you. If somebody's quoting something, if it's from the master, then that we can say, okay, cool. This is the reference. This is the book. This is. But if I don't know that, I'm not going to co-sign on it, because.
Can you give me DM me a way I could contact Young Elder? So I would want to.
Does he not do live Q&As? Does he not do like lives where you can ask him questions?
No, he has his YouTube, his YouTube channel.
Right.
But he's a student of Babia Noon, but he talks with Rod Hayes, he talks with FaZe.
No, I'm familiar with him. I know who the Young Elder is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only on YouTube. It's just YouTube. There's no way for me.
Right.
So besides that, that's why I have to, whatever source I have, I get the correct answer through you and Wu-Sabat. But basically, when I watched all the videos, like there's over 1,000 on the Galactic Family of Life. What I learned from Young Elder is that, the Hawaiian Wars, the Lyman Wars, felines were fighting against the reptilians. So I just want to know.
Yeah, I mean, what we're running out of time for this live, but what I'm saying is, many people teach things on YouTube, all sorts nowadays, and many people claim all kind of things, and they don't allow themselves to be questioned so that people can clarify, like, what's the source of the information. We come on live every week, and we defend and quote the master's scrolls, because we get that information directly from the master. Now, others don't allow themselves to be questioned in the same way that we do, so people can actually get clarification as to what's the origin of what you're saying.
Can you please look into that for me?
Sure.
I really want to know about the real reptilian, and the Thundercats. I heard that they're walk upright like Tony the Tiger is a king Tony.
you're still trying to draw me into answering questions for other people, and I'm saying to you to be respectful as well to them, because I'm not here to we're not here to be divisive or anything, but I'm just saying, when it comes to Parnabab Yanun, for those that are diligent students and people that are studying the scroll, we can collaborate each other's information, because we're all reading the same scrolls from the same person. So if I start going off,
he's a student of Baba. That's what he says.
right? Many people can claim to be the student. Yeah, I know. I'm very familiar with him, and I'm saying, all right. Let me clarify this, and this will be the last question. You have many people that are claiming to be the student of the master teacher, and you have people that are at different levels. So just because some people just read the books, but they're not actually active, or they're not around the family, or they're not in the community. So, if somebody says they are, then that's what they say they are. But at the end of the day, the master teacher does put out guidelines, and we get information of what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, and that covers everything. Read Nuwapian man, or the Sabian man as a man, to know what you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to, well, I say supposed to, but people will choose to do what they like. But you should be close, studying the up-to-date information, and people will have their views on whether it's not the master's information, you know. So there are so many different dynamics to people out there that are students that are behind in terms of they were around from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and they haven't kept up to date with the hereafter doctrine. There are people who have gone off doing their own thing, kind of thing, you know, and you have to be current. You have to be amongst the family, amongst the updates that we get, and be following instructions, be a part of the orders, because some information is not divulged publicly. And so what I'm basically saying is we are here representing and teaching the knowledge and information by Pana Babyanun. And if we don't know of it to come from him, we're not going to, we're not going to teach it until he actually clarifies things for us. So I don't know if you want to add anything
I mean,
to that, but
young elders doing a great job. At least he's exposing people to Wu-Sabat or to Malachi. But is he talking about actual facts, master secrets, and patriarchs? Is he reading from those books? I haven't heard anything from that. So,
I mean, one of the things we also say to people is learn to ask questions. Like, if you ask us the question, what did he say? Our new sister, or yeah. If the question was, who is our new sister?
And did she create the reptilians?
Yeah, that's a direct question. Then we can say to you, this is our new sister. But if someone is like making statements or ask, I watched this, I read this, I saw this, and I think this, you know, we will listen and wait for the answer, for the question. So yeah, learn, not just, I'm not speaking directly to you, brother, I'm just saying, ask questions, and if you're studying the doctrine of Wu-Sabat, you will have direct questions.
And I mean, with the reptilian species thing, the master teacher said there was over 16, I know there's probably more than that now.
Yeah,
and then just 70 different species of greys alone.
That's right. And then remember, it's like people say, how many galaxies are there, or how many stars are there? And it's like, they're continuously growing. So when you say how many species, they're continuously, you know, coming up with new species. So I don't know, do you have anything we missed out or that we won't know? All right, so we're going to round off.
Your Monday video coming out.
Yeah?
That one's about, what was that we done yesterday?
Moses. Yeah, we've been doing so many videos, I'm losing track. But yeah, King just says he's got a video coming up Monday on Moses. So yes, tune into that. And remember, yeah, we've got a lot of new things in store for you in their Gregorian New Year. Is it New Year yet? Oh yes, it is in some parts, isn't it? Yeah, but we're still waiting here to go Happy New Year, as everybody will say. But yeah, we got a lot of new things for you in the new year, the new Gregorian calendar. Our new year will be celebrating June 26th, and we would love to have our master teacher with us, and that's what we're working to. And yeah, we're going to start putting things into action in 2025. So it's not just about talking and you know, just reading. We got to come together to do things to benefit us, and ultimately to make sure that we get the master teacher home.
Time for action.
Time for action. 9.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, we want to say Wadu,
Tawakkum.
Moisar, Wu-Tawakkum.